Hello and welcome to the Sales Show. I'm Maree Kirkpatrick, your sales and business strategist. I'm a mum, a wife, and a multi-business owner myself. With over 15 years experience in sales and business, I have worked with startups all the way through to multi-million-dollar companies. I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I love helping service-based businesses make an income as well as an impact. Let's jump into talking about all things sales and business. Hello and welcome back to the Sales Show. I'm your host, Maree Kirkpatrick, and today's podcast is coming from some inspiration that I got over the weekend. What I love about sales is that sales is everywhere, right? If you have bought something, you've been sold to. If you have had a customer within your business, you've made a sale. If you're in a relationship, you have sold yourself to someone to say, I'm worthy of being in a relationship with, and this is why you should be in a relationship with me, right? And so over the weekend, hubby and I went shopping. He needed a new pair of shoes. And when we talk about runners in our house, when I say runners, like exercise shoes, right? He lives in them. He uses them for work. He lives in them day in, day out, right? So it's a big purchase and he's not willing to go cheap and cheerful on it. He wants something that's going to give him really good support. So when we walked into this store, I don't know if I should name it. It was a great experience. So let's go with it. So we went shopping in Athlete's Foot. Now, if you've ever bought with Athlete's Foot, it's not just a matter of finding a shoe, picking it up off the shelf and buying it, right? Like there's a process that they go through. And so over today's podcast, I want to talk about how having that process, because let's face it, it is a sales process, whether you're buying shoes or buying something for your business, it's a sales process. And so today I want to go through what are the benefits of having a sales process and also why you need one. Like what is the impact that it has? So yes, we were going through Athlete's Foot, and if you've ever bought from Athlete's Foot, you know what I mean, right? You walk in, they scan your feet, they assess your stride, they look at how your feet roll and how you balance your weight throughout your feet and all that sort of stuff. It's like a little mini science lab, and I love it. They ask you questions and they tend to give you a few options so that you've got a shoe that fits you right. And by the end of it, you walk out with a new pair of shoes. Sometimes you also walk out with some inserts, which is what hubby ended up with. And you walk out feeling like you've had this experience of like, these shoes are tailored for me, right? Like my foot has been assessed. These are the right option for me. And this is what the difference between having a tailored customer journey is about. It's intentional, it's been thought out, and it leaves the customer knowing that they have made a really good buying decision. So today we're going to go through what Athlete's Foot gets really, what they nail with their customer experience. We're going to go through why a sales process really matters more than ever in today's economy, and how you can create consistency, trust, and really increase your conversion with every single interaction that you have, no matter who's delivering it, right? So what I love about the Athlete's Foot experience was that it's structured. So any team member can do that experience, give that customer that same experience, and it's personalized, right? So they get your name, they get your details. They don't just say, go and choose a shoe and, I can help you get a size or anything like that. They actually guide you, they assess you, and they recommend based on what your needs are. Okay, so they have value selling. And I love the way that they make customers feel really seen and heard. So they asked hubby a whole heap of questions. How do you use your shoes? Are you training? What sort of training are you doing? What sort of needs do you have for your shoes? Is this like just a weekend pair of shoes or, all that sort of stuff. And then what they do is they use their expertise. And I'm not talking about the expertise specifically of the staff member, right? A lot of this is supported by the software that Athlete's Foot has built out. But they're using that expertise to create a really confident sale, right? So it's like, we know what we're talking about. We know this is the best shoe for you. I can tell you why. I can show you visually how your feet are tracking and what this shoe will do to support that. So they're actually taking the customer on a journey. It's not just about a transaction. And the amount of times that I see businesses just go through a transaction, it's actually mind-blowing. It's actually kind of scary, because then I hear business owners turn around and say, well, people aren't buying, sales are down, it's all about the economy, rah, rah, rah. Well, actually, maybe it's their sales process and the way that they are taking people through their customer journey throughout their business. So I want you to think about, you're not just selling packages, and you're not just selling sessions or a course or anything along those lines, right? You're actually guiding someone to find a solution for them. Okay. It's not about you, it's about them. And when it's done right, it really builds that trust, that authority, and you will see your conversions increase. I don't know how many times we've had this conversation in her sales club, where we talk about, what is it that your customer is looking for now, in that moment, not what you think that they need over the next 12 months. What is it that they need now, in that moment, to get them to say yes and to increase your conversion rates? Sometimes as business owners, we kind of end up with this really big disconnect, and it's like, they need this, they need this, they need this. But what their customer is actually telling them is something totally different, because what their customer is telling them is something based on their knowledge, their experience. Where the business owner has a whole heap of expertise. They probably have a few years under their belt about their specialty and what they've been doing. And so we want to really get on the floor with our customers. And the best way to do that is with a really good tailored sales process. So what does a tailored sales process look like? It is about having a process that is designed, right? It's not just winging it each time. This is a pre-designed process that your customers go through. And it also needs to be flexible for the client. So it's not just about everyone's got to fit into this box. It's about adapting your processes, your products and services to their needs. Okay. And it needs to be consistent across your whole business, across your whole brand. Every single lead needs to get that same experience. And we're hoping it's a freaking good experience, right? Like, let's not give everyone the rubbish experience. And so here's what I believe a sales process must include, right? You need to have a discover and uncover step in there. So this is where you ask a whole heap of questions, and you dig into what it is that they are looking for, why they're looking for it, what their previous experience has been. And this is both if you are having a conversation with someone, as well as if you are selling online. So people will say to me, well, Maree, that's really great, but I'm not actually having conversations. People go to a landing page and they buy my course and my product off the page. So how do I actually ask them questions? Well, this is where you need to have already pre-asked these questions and answered the questions on the page, right? So it's like, do you feel like you have X, Y, and Z? Here's a solution, right? And it's mapped out. It's not just like, here's everything you need to know and blah, blah, and constantly talking at your customers, right? Asking questions allows people to pull, it allows us to pull people in rather than us pushing our information, our products and services on people. Really, really different buying experience for the customer. I'm always a big believer of, what do you need to do to attract people in? Stop pushing your products and service and attract people in, right? So you need to have that discover and uncover process. Then what you want to do is look at, how can you transition from people talking about what it is that they're needing and transitioning into what it is that you do. Make that link. It's what I call the bridge. We sell this process as a single framework because so many businesses haven't nailed it. So if you want to check it out, just jump onto mareekirkpatrick.com/hub and you can purchase it there. But basically what it is, it's going through the features, benefits, and outcomes of what it is that you do. But it's also understanding where people are currently at and where they want to go. So one of my beautiful VIP clients the other day sent me through her bridge, and I was like, oh, okay. And every time someone sends me through their bridge, they haven't nailed it first go, which is great because it allows us to refine, and dig in deeper. And the more we can dig in deeper to our clients is always going to be a win. So what I did was I went through and did part of her bridge for her. So these are all the things that you're telling me your client, where they're at, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what's going on for them, what experiences they've had. And so I put that in one column. And then what I want them to do is answer what your products and services, how does it fix or answer that challenge that your client's got, right? So that's just another part of that transition process in your sales process, okay? And then we want to make sure that we have a really personalized touch point. So we're doing follow-up if we need to. And it's not just following up for the sake of following up, right? It's making sure that we're following up so that we're adding value and people can see what it's like to work with us. Okay. So those clear steps need to be really clear and outlined in your business. So if I go back to the athlete's foot, she knew this, the lady that was serving us, she knew step by step what she needed to do to get hubby from walking in the door to handing over money and having really great experience with athlete's foot. And they have done it so well that me, even as a sales person and highly trained in negotiation, he will not shop anywhere else, right? And here's the thing, like this is a little side note. Here's the thing. Shoes, like the Asics that he bought, were sold in, I don't know, probably 5 or 10 other retailers in that same shopping center. Okay. And I can tell you that athlete's foot are not the cheapest option to buy shoes, right? But what makes them different, them different is that they have nailed their sales process. You are so clear that the shoes that you are buying are right for you. They are tailored to your foot. If you need inserts, they can help you with that. They package it all up beautifully together. That is why you need to have a sales process, okay? And I think the other thing that a sales process does is that it allows people to trust you so much quicker. And not just you as the person, but you as your business and your brand. So if I go back to athlete's foot, I'm just going to keep using that as an example because I think it's a really clear one that we've probably all experienced to some degree. And the concepts are still the same, right? So hubby will probably go back there in another 6 months and buy another pair of shoes. Will he be served by the same person? Probably not. Maybe he will. Who knows? But the thing is that he now trusts athlete's foot to give him a really good buying experience, give him the shoes that he needs based on his feet and the way that he's moving his weight, the way he strides, all of that. So his athlete's foot have earned his trust really easily and quickly without even having a real connection, right? Like the lady wasn't the best salesperson I've ever seen. She wasn't, you know what I mean? Like she was just the executor of that sales process. And then what else I was also observing while the lady went out and got hubby's shoes was their conversion rate was high. And that's the difference with having a sales process, right? So your conversion rate increases because you're guiding people through your business. They're not just guessing how they, buy or how they interact with your business. There's actually a guide and a process there for them. And so when people walked into Athlete's Foot, someone would come up and approach them with their what looked like an iPad-y kind of tablet thing. And they were like, yep, come and take a seat, sat down, took shoes off, and they took it through this really beautiful process. And the amount of time that I was in the store, because hubby took a little minute to decide whether he wanted, what color shoes he wanted and which ones felt better and blah, 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 whatever. But I got to sit there and just watch. And every single person that walked across that pad that tracked their feet and all of that sort of stuff purchased when I was in that store. So they would have had at least 3 purchases go through when I was in there for maybe the half an hour that I was there. Imagine if every single person that came into your business touched your business, and then purchased from you in that same experience. So sexy, right? The clients feel supported. They're clear on what they need. They're clear that you're the right decision for them. And it really removes the overwhelm, not just for your client, but also for you as the business owner. Like when people go to talk about their products and services, they're like, I just need more leads. I need more leads. I need more leads. And I say to them, I don't want you to get more leads if we don't have that sales process sorted, because you're going to end up burning the leads, right? So what we want to do is we want to have that sales process really beautifully mapped out and clear. And then what we want to do is add leads into that, so that every single person that comes through, like in Athlete's Foot, they go through the step by step by step, and they end up with a tailored solution at the end of it that they're happy to purchase from you. Okay. The sales process also means that it doesn't matter who on your team is delivering it. So same with Athlete's Foot, right? I don't know how long that girl's worked there. I don't know how long she'll continue to work there. But the thing is that Athlete's Foot have that process already built in that they can plug people into. They can plug team members into it, knowing that the process is there to support them. Okay. So it's not about the team member being magical. It's about the process being magical and supportive. And I really believe in business with everything that goes on in the world. And if you're like me, business owner, parent, juggling multiple things at once, even last night, we ended up with a sick little teddy bear and we ended up in emergency. I got home at 5 a.m. But I know that when inquiries come into my email, I know exactly the process that they're going to go through, because that sales process is built out. So it doesn't matter what else is going on behind the scenes. That process is there to support me as well as the business. Okay. Same energy, same process, same direction, people purchasing from you. So if you're sitting there wondering, or driving or walking, or however you're listening to me today, if you're sitting there thinking, well, how, Maree, can I create that same or similar process like Athlete's Foot has? Here's a few things that I would be suggesting. And no, you don't need a foot scanner unless you're into that, but each to their own, no judgment here. But here's what you do need. You do need to map out your sales process. So what happens when people first touch your business, whether it's your website, whether it's your Facebook pages, whether they DM you over social media, like whatever that looks like, how do they step through your business? Okay. I like to do it scrappy. So get a piece of paper and a pen, or I use my Remarkable tablet, or you can do it digitally. I use Lucid Charts, and block out box 1, box 2, arrow here, arrow there. If they don't purchase here, what happens over there? Do they go this way or do they go that way? Have it all really clear, because once you've got that process clear, then we can look at what you need to do to optimize it, what we need to do to make it high converting. We can also track where people are falling down in that sales process, and we can fix it, tweak it, and as I said, optimize it. You also want to be able to have in that process, and when you're building out that sales process for yourself, you want to know what are those key questions that you need to uncover and ask when you're talking to someone. So Athlete's Foot isn't just asking how you walk. They're asking what you do day in and day out. They're asking about your training. They're asking about, is this your main pair of shoes? They're asking about what shoes have you worn in the past. They've asked about what the experience was with the shoes that you've been wearing for the past 6 months. All of those questions are so important, because it then also gives you juice to overcome any objections that come through as well. So you do need to be able to ask really good questions so that you can offer the right solution. And then what we want to do is we want to make sure that your core offer, or what you are offering them, matches the challenges and their needs that they're wanting. Not what you think that they need, but what they think that they need. Okay. It's kind of like when you cook for kids, right? You give them what they want, but then you hide in the vegetables and all the good nutrition stuff. Okay. So you need to address both sides of it, but I want you to be really clear that your offer needs to match what it is that they're struggling with, or the challenge that they're wanting to overcome, or the needs that they've got. Okay. Stop trying to shove people into what you think that they need. Okay. Be really clear about that
offer that you've got and tailor it to your ideal client and the people that you're talking to, okay? And then you want to have a really clear next step. So what happens when they go to buy from you? What happens after they buy from you? What is the follow-up process if they don't buy from you then and there? People should never, ever feel confused when they're dealing with your business, okay? They shouldn't know where to give you money. They shouldn't know how the whole process works. It should feel calm. It should feel like it's in flow, streamlined, and they should feel really supported and obvious in how that buying process happens, okay? So let me leave you with this. With everything that we're talking about today, I want you to be really clear that we are not pushing our offers. We are offering solutions. We are providing solutions and we are serving our clients, okay? And when you tailor that and the way that you sell, magic happens. Like, we've been running Her Sales Club now for over 12 months, and the conversations that we have are so different because when they first came into Her Sales Club, they're like, oh, I'm not really salesy. I'm like, what made you join? Oh, I know I need help with sales, but I don't want to be pushing. I don't want to be hustly, and I don't know really how to do it and feel comfortable with it. To now, they're like, can't believe how easy this is. And I jump on the phone with someone and within 10 minutes, they're like, yep, great. What do I need to do to move forward? Or do you have time to fit me in? Or can you do everything that you've just explained? And like that sale just becomes that natural flow in that conversation. And it's so sexy. Have I told you how sales is so sexy? If I haven't, go back to my other podcasts. And then what we want to do is we want to become that go-to, right? Like we want to be the experts and the industry leaders in what it is that we do. And that comes with building that trust and that really beautiful experience that we're giving people. So we're not just relying on luck to make our sales. We've actually got a sales process that allows people to move through our business. If you have a sales process and then you want to scale your business, then all we need to do is turn on your marketing tab. Because once your sales is nailed and your sales process is clear, it is optimized and it is flowing, baby, we just turn on the leads and get more people to walk through your business, okay? So I want you to ask yourself, what does your sales experience feel like for your client? Not for you, but for your client. Is it consistent? Is it personable? Are you offering tailored solutions? And when I say tailored solutions, let's be really freaking clear on this. A tailored solution doesn't mean that every time someone talks to you that you're recreating an offer or that you're rebundling things up and you're trying to like plug things in together. No. What I mean by a tailored process, a tailored offer is that the bulk of what you do, we're tailoring it to their experience and what it is that they're needing. Say, for example, when people come to me for help with their sales process, I know that we need to look at their messaging, their sales process, their lead generation and marketing. We need to make sure we've got a follow-up process. There's a few pieces to the puzzle, right? I'm not going to go through all of that when I'm talking to them about this is everything that we do and blah, 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 because you know what's going to happen? They're going to be like, well, this is overwhelming. What I'm going to do is if they're saying to me, I think I've got issues with my messaging, then I touch on the messaging side of us working together. That is tailoring our solution to them, okay? I know that to get someone's business moving, I need to touch on all 5 of those things. But when I'm talking to the person about what it is that we need to do to work together, I'm being specific based on what they have told me their needs, desires, and wants are, okay? Then what we want to do is we want to make sure it's really easy for them to say yes. And do you know what the best way to do that is? Ask for their sale. Invite them into your business. Okay, would you like to work together? Does that work for you? Should we get started? Whatever feels comfortable for you, okay? And if you don't have these sort of things covered, this is your chance to build it. We are coming up to the middle of the year. So we're about to start a new financial year if you're in Australia. And I want you to really consider what can you do to have a really either strong finish and then a really great start to the new financial year. And I guarantee that you building out a sales process will do that. If you need help with building out your sales process, please reach out. More than happy to have a chat. And otherwise, you can go and check out Her Sales Club where we go through all this sort of stuff. And it's not just about building it out in Her Sales Club. It's also getting tips and advice, and we go through launches and the way that you're selling it and the way that you're marketing it and all that sort of stuff. We go through all that sort of stuff in your sales accelerator calls that happen every single month. So her sales club is literally built for this. This is why I developed it. Okay. So we'll map out, we'll tweak, we master your client journey and all that sort of stuff as well. If you have any questions, please reach out. If this hit home for you and you've had some ahas, I would love you to share it. Just tag me at Maree Kirkpatrick on social medias, or you can email podcast@Maree Kirkpatrick, and we would love to connect with you. Until next time, have an amazing week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Sales Show. If you loved it, feel free to share it on Instagram and tag me at Maree Kirkpatrick so I can personally say thank you. If you really want to show me some extra love, I would love to invite you to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email at podcast@mareekirkpatrick.com. If you would like to find out more or how you can work with me, head over to mareekirkpatrick.com. I truly hope that this podcast provides valuable information so you too can build a business with impact and income.